Right, I can edit it later. Okay, the mark scheme, because it's OCR, is problematic. Yeah, OCR have lots of horrible little tricks. That's why the IGCSE was such a lovely exam. What you saw was what you had to do. There were no tricks. So the first thing I want to get is the trick they're playing on us here. They're assessing you on AO4. Perceptive exploration, no problem, you're used to looking at more than one interpretation of quotations. Critical evaluation, you're used to balancing which one you prefer. Then you evaluate, this is the one I like best. But then they throw this bit in. You've got to write about the context or the significance of the text to different readers. I don't care. This is your revision. Right, so, suddenly, they're asking us to think about 1930s America, the problems of racism, whether Steinbeck's a feminist, does he believe in God, is he turning that Easter story upside down in order to show that mankind has abandoned God, or does he do it to show that he doesn't believe in God and he thinks it's all a myth? You've got to decide these aspects of context. Now, why there's a trick involved, Hannah, can you give me the next PDF? That's it. Is the question won't ask you that. The question will be something like this. How does Steinbeck's writing make this such a powerful and revealing moment in the novel? Now think about the context. Or if you don't do the extract question, do I want you to do the extract question?
Yeah.
Cool, just checking. How does Steinbeck's writing vividly convey the harshness of life for the ranch hands? Doesn't say in 1930s America in the Great Depression. Yeah? So this is what's horrible about OCR. It doesn't say to you, write about the context. But that's what they're marking you on as well. Okay, so lesson number 1, which we'll practice today, you've got to write about the context. Okay, so here we go. I've just picked some random bits from the death of Curly's wife, and we're going to practice nailing the mark scheme. So you've got 20 seconds to pick something from there that you would comment on. Okay, can you read me the line so I can find it?
And he crept round the end of the last manger, yeah.
Brilliant, and disappeared. Good, thank you for focusing on that. What are you going to say about it?
Well, it's ironic because it made Jesus born in a manger, so that's the religious aspect. But someone's just died and he's abandoning the manger, showing how it's the story of life is basically Jesus one, Christmas one, because that's the story of death.
Can we go a little bit deeper there? So you've given us this great insight that he's using the language of the Christmas story to ironically describe the death of Curly's wife. Why is Steinbeck doing that? Why is he linking the death of Curly's wife to the Christmas story? It seems really inappropriate, doesn't it? Jesus died to save us all. Yeah, that's why he was born. That's why God put him on earth. But here, we've got this seemingly pointless death of Curly's wife. Thank you.
Maybe it's that her not being there anymore is going to is basically covering up for all their possible sins that they could commit in patriarchal society. Because
how would that work then?
Because she's like she is temptation.
Good.
To the men. So physically taking temptation away would mean that they could no longer be tempted by anything, because in that society that's what they've been.
Interesting. In the Bible, the story is the opposite. Yeah, here's Eden, you've been tempted, we're taking you out of it. Here, the men are on this ranch, and Lenny has removed temptation by killing her off. So the men are no longer tempted by her. Now, I've no idea why Steinbeck does that, because he's dead, I can't ask him. However, I know if I come up with an answer, I'm going to get an A star. Can anybody do it for me? Why does he do that? Go, Jamie.
Does it highlight how it being a patriarchal society doesn't actually work, because it'll just lead on to men looking for
Well, hold it there then. So Jamie's introduced the idea that it shows patriarchal society doesn't work. Can anyone add to it for us? How does it show patriarchal society doesn't work? That's actually not a hard question. Yeah.
Well, maybe because after Curly's wife's death, the first purposeful murder of someone happens when Lenny dies, so it shows maybe that the society will become more chaotic without women.
Excellent. Society will become more chaotic without women, and that's why she's been murdered. Dom.
This is not about the patriarchal point, it's about, could you say that it happens because mankind is taking God away from their lives?
Excellent. So that would be the context then, a Christian context.
They move so far away that they're down doing the opposite.
So Steinbeck is warning people to turn back to Christian behaviour in that reading. Daisy.
Well, it could be said you know, there's all the other way around and everything. So, you know the talking about innocence and Lenny?
Yes.
It could show how, not that Slim's like God, but Lenny's like God, he's getting rid of that temptation for them, and even though he's killing,
Yes.
which is wrong, it's not wrong there, because, God kills, the destruction of her terribly being philosophy.
Yeah.
The destruction of he kills people and it's not wrong. So maybe that's Lenny, even though he's killed her, he's taken the temptation away from the men.
So in your reading there, Steinbeck is looking at the role of God,
Yeah.
saying, look, God does things that seem unjust to us, but actually we still have to believe that he's got a benevolent plan. Is that the way you're going?
Sure, yeah, let's go with that.
No, I'm asking you. Or is he
Yeah.
attacking God for his actions?
No,
Which way is he
he's
going?
saying, basically that God, he has a plan, and even if even though he Lenny is killing someone, it's for the greater good and everything.
Okay. Thank you, philosophy people. Right, let's get back to this though. Dan? Tom? So we've just had 4 or 5 different views about one word. Yeah, the manger idea. So you've gone well beyond A star. Did we manage to nail the assessment criteria about context?
Yeah, kind of.
Hold on, let's go back. Did we mention patriarchal society?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the context. Did we decide, some people decided it had a Christian context? That's a context, yeah? He's writing in a Christian tradition or with a Christian message. Or, if we explore Daisy's point of view, be attacking the Christian message. This idea of a benevolent God that actually kills people. Can we square those two views? And it's up to you, but every time you do that, you're talking about the context. However, what's the number one context that's going to be in the examiner's mind, because they won't think as deeply as you? The American Dream, that stuff. So, that's our next task. Anything on that page you can link to the American Dream. Clap when you've got something. Okay, well I'll take who clapped us. Phoebe, go for it.
Could it be that for the first time Lenny became conscious of the outside?
Good, go on and link it for us.
Well, because they get so caught up in how they want to achieve this American dream that they kind of lose perspective of it a little bit. And then when it's kind of that realization that it's not a reality. Yeah.
Carry on.
So, then he's becoming conscious of the outside. It's symbolic of how all of the men, Lenny and George, or George has always been conscious of it, but Lenny is coming around.
So Lenny comes round to realising this dream just at the moment that he's ruined it. He's killed her off and it can't happen. I've done a real bad thing. Why does Steinbeck giving this beginning of an awareness at the same time as he's going to take the dream away then? Jenny?
To show that the American dream is almost achievable, but it's always just out of reach.
Excellent idea. So this became conscious, that idea of almost achievable but not quite. Okay, let's link that back to the title, or rather, yeah, to the title of Mice and Men, which you remember comes from the poem Best Laid Plans of Mice and Men Gang Off to Gley by Robbie Burns, and it means, I'm glad to see you don't watch my videos, and it means the best laid plans of mice and men often go wrong. Okay, so that's like the American dream. That's our plan, but the best laid plans often go wrong. Can we link the death of Curly's wife to that, please? One of the Henrys. Right, Matt's going to help Henry out, I sense. Matt.
So if as soon as she dies, the Curly's wife dies, the American dream is impossible. I mean, it's only possible with her there.
Excellent. So Steinbeck could be arguing that the American dream won't work for George and Lenny because it's a patriarchal vision, it's a male vision, there are no women in that vision. Yeah, and the death of Curly's wife destroys the dream, so Matt's suggesting, Steinbeck is saying, look, you need a dream that's going to include women here, because it's a sexist society, a dream's never going to come true. Henry?
But because of the brothels that they all go to,
Yes.
if the men didn't go to the brothels, they would be able to save up for the American dream.
Good.
But they spend their money on the brothels instead, implying that because women are there, the American dream is not possible.
Or because women are used in this way in a sexist society. Yeah, so it's the male attitude to women that's destroyed that dream coming true. Okay, this is just after she's died. We're just going to focus on this bit, Millie and Charlotte.
Yeah.
Just going to focus on this bit.
Okay.
Okay? So you're going to say something about that in 30 seconds' time. As sometimes happens, a moment settled and hovered and remained for much more than a moment. And sound stopped and movement stopped for much, much more than a moment. And then gradually time awakened again and moved sluggishly on. The horses stamped on the other side of the feeding racks and the halter chains clinked. So, Millie or Charlotte, anything?
I don't know where this bit is though.
It's just after, this is the description, just after Curly's wife is dead, Lenny's gone.
Did I do with like the realisation that the dream is gone again?
Yeah, where it's a gradually behind the
So he's realised now that
Well, except Lenny isn't there. It's just the reader and the dead body. So who's realising the dream's gone? What would we call the audience of the book? The readers, okay. Why does Steinbeck want us to realise that the dream is gone?
the woman's gone and then we're showing that we needed to,
it can't, the dream's a success.
the woman has to be there.
Okay. Can we have a new idea? Well done, that fits. Dominic?
The bottom of the left-hand side says the chains clink.
Yes.
That represent the bond between American people and the American dream, how they tie to it.
Oh yes, it could do. The reason it could do is this is a motif, an image that keeps recurring, a motif. The halter chains clinking happen in every chapter, virtually. So Dominic's making a really sophisticated link, saying, okay, they're a metaphor then for how the Americans are tied to the American dream. Let's take that a step further. If the idea of the American dream is like a chain, what's Steinbeck saying about the dream?
People are slaves to it. So
People are slaves to it, yeah.
they,
Who is, sorry,
they are like, they have to go by it, they can't not. And so it's just like society has made them constantly strive towards this impossible.
excellent. Let's just, to finish, let me just explore that a little further. The tragedy of the novel could be the American dream, not that they don't get it, but as Sam is saying, they're tied to it. So Curly's wife dreams of being in the movies, an unrealistic dream, which leads her to marry Curly to escape, which leads her to start talking about her dream to Lenny, And it's no coincidence that Steinbeck gets Lenny to kill Curly's wife as she's talking about her dream. So the dream has led to her death. The dream that Lenny has is what George puts in Lenny's head just before he shoots him. So there's a link there between having that dream and tragedy. Candy is crestfallen because he suddenly gets this dream of the ranch, and George refuses to go ahead with it, even though they've got the money. You know, they're only $50 lighter without Lenny. They could still get this in another month. George says no.
What does it say about George?
Hold on. There's only one character who doesn't have an American dream and is yet perfectly content. Slim. Yeah, so one reading of the novel is, if you want to be successful in life, you have to be like Slim, not having an American dream. Now, most readings of the novel are about pursuing it, but Dominic with his idea of the chains, and Sam with his idea of us being therefore tied to the dream in a negative way, have introduced a new A-star point that the dream is actually damaging and they're better off without it. Thank you for packing away before I asked you. Let's pack. Thanks, Tom.